Alrighty, Ryan Harvey on Twitter, X, Fubar, put me onto a site called Jisaku to Geimu to Kyoumi no Hibi, which essentially was looking at input lag and just comparing the kind of effect that 60 frames per second or a 60 hertz monitor versus a 240 hertz would have. But one of the interesting things they found was that on the PS5, some of the VRR settings had pretty big impact on input lag and potentially across different stages. So if we just start here, this is all of my input lag tests. You can see that mainly PS5 here, but then a couple of PS5s here, and then one switch way down the bottom. So if we put shading on that, you can see that most of them are under 6 frames. Now, going back, if we just choose the Hut, just to kind of confirm, so roughly, switch is about, PS5 as quick as 57, 60s, around 60 or so, and then this from memory was 120 hertz off, so a pretty bad way to play it. But say 57 to 60, switch in the range of 70 to 75, 70 to 76. Okay, so I'll try to remember that, forget it immediately. Now, when we look at the Hut stage, suddenly this is ahead of the switch, so 120 hertz auto, VRR auto, and applied to unsupported games. If we take off the applied unsupported games, there's a large penalty for the PS5 version. So we go from 61 to 94 milliseconds, so essentially 2 frames, 2 full frames at a 60 frames per second speed. This is surprising. So the Switch version didn't really change, going from the training mode, which is what I was on before, to the Hut, but the PS5 has a significant, almost essentially a 50% increase in input lag just by changing stages and changing VRR settings. So one of the things I like about testing is I was pretty skeptical about this. It seemed unlikely that it would be such a difference, but my opinion doesn't really matter. My data matters, and it's certainly the findings of the previous group. The Jisaku webpage is repeated in this testing, so that is interesting. I guess the next step would be to test every stage to see whether they have large impacts on input lag or not.